Pokemon. It's the game where you start off as a young child, venture through the region, take on the 8 gym leaders, defeat the evil team, then make your way to becoming the champion. But sometimes that gets repetitive. Well, recently I found a game where everything is the complete opposite. A game where instead you take on the region as a Rocket Grunt, stealing other trainers' beloved Pokemon as you go along. How crazy would it be to play Pokemon as the bad guy the entire game? Well, only one way to find out. So the game starts with receiving your starter, a Rattata. Well, that's pretty fitting. The physical special split is in this game, which might be useful later on, but I'm playing this blind, so I literally don't know what happens throughout the game. Anyway, I grab the HM Fly upstairs, then commit my very first crime, stealing a Spearow from a little kid. Wow, this game is going to be very, very brutal. Anyway, right after that, we're tasked with going to Mount Moon to steal some fossils. I also get the opportunity to battle some trainers, meaning that I can potentially get some new team members. Unfortunately, nothing here is really that good, so I pass on pretty much everything. Right after that though, we find out that some spiky-haired kid destroyed all of the grunts. Wow, I wonder who that could be. Alright, well, let's move along. Oh, it's, red, and I, of course, get destroyed. How does he have a level 25 Charmeleon this early? He must have his own Solar Run channel. Once I get back to the base, we soon learn that Blaine is affiliated with Team Rocket. Well, that explains why he's so bad as a gym leader in Gen 1, I guess. Oh yeah, and also I learned that the less you steal Pokemon, the lower your bounty is, which means that you can actually get some rewards. Well, now I'm regretting doing all of that stealing earlier. So after that task is complete, I have a new mission. I have to go and see Bill and deliver a parcel to him. On the way, I got a lot of new team members that I totally legitimately got, not at all from stealing. And as soon as I make my way back to the base, Blue comes and fights us. He's oddly underleveled compared to Red, and besides his Wartortle spamming Withdraw for seemingly 100 turns, he was a joke. This is the guy we were scared about in Mount Moon. After delivering some steroids to Surge, we board the SS Anne to search for the legendary beasts inside some crates. While we're at it though, the captain decides to battle. I'm actually really underleveled for this part of the game it seems, and I had a pretty difficult time beating him. Thankfully, his Scyther only had Pursuit and False Swipe as attacks, so I didn't lose. After that, I have to climb the Pokemon Tower to find Mr. Fuji, and again, he decides to battle me. He leads with Marowak, so I use Fearow to take it out since he can't damage me with his ground type attacks. Second is Pikachu, but I just use Nidoking's Poison Tail to take him out. Third is Licky Tongue, but again, I take him out with Nidoking, and last is Ditto, but yeah, it's a Ditto. The battle's already over. I return back to HQ, and Giovanni gives a little history of Kanto in the past. We see that him, Oak, and many other notable figures were all part of an elaborate scheme to create a Pokemon to be solely used as a weapon for the war, only for it to escape from the lab into Cerulean Cave. I wonder if we'll be able to catch it. Also, right after his speech is over, we get promoted to admin. Wow, this is like my first day on the job. The plot armor is crazy. After that, now I have to go to Palatine to look for Professor Oak, but he's nowhere to be found. I end up getting in a 5-minute long expository dump from Agatha about their long-lost relationship, and then battle Blue's sister Daisy. She leads with Chansey, but of course it has base 5 defense, so it's an easy KO. Next is Ponyta, and Slowpoke manages to take it out, but not before losing half health, then going down to Nidorina. I use Raichu to finish it off, and then last is her own Raichu, so I just use Nidoking to take it out. After that, Giovanni orders me to go and wipe out Blaine, and very conveniently, he gives me the HM for Surf. I swear, Blaine chose the absolute worst place to have a Fire-type gym. Alright, let's just take him out. Okay, time to beat Blaine. Nidoking takes out his Growlithe and Ponyta with ease, obviously, and then for Rapidash, I switch to Slowpoke to give it some EXP, and then take it out with a few Surfs. Last is Arcanine, so I use Yawn to put it to sleep, go down, then use 2 Surfs from Nidoking to finish the fight. Yep, still easy as always. After that, the entire team is now on a mission to invade Sylph Co. My task is to find 6 scientists and take them all out. Not gonna lie, this part of the game was really tedious, since there are a lot of random security guards in the way, and the battles took quite a long time, so let's just skip over to the important stuff. After all of that is done though, I finally get to meet Professor Oak again, and he tells everyone watching to subscribe right now. I'm just kidding, no, he just gives some weird speech and walks away. So I make it to the top floor, and Bill is there, and he fights me for the Master Ball. Raichu takes out Porygon and 3 Thunderbolts, and then he sends out Kane Kangaskhan, so I use 2 Brick Breaks from Nidoking to take it out. Third is Lapras, so I use Raichu to take it out easily, and fourth is Dragonair, so I switch it to Haunter and take it out with 2 Shadow Balls. Last is Pinsir, and I tried to use Growlithe to take it out, but it didn't work, so I just used Haunter to be immune to Thrash and finish the fight. After the fight, I got promoted to Executive. This is like day 2. This has got to be some kind of world record or something. So I leave the building, and as soon as I make it to the exit, Bill calls, and he asks me to help him out in the Cinnabar lab, even though I just completely destroyed him. Alright, so he talks about creating a duplicate Master Ball, but needing me to go and grab an Apricorn in Viridian Forest, and I go there, and surprise, Silver is just standing there for some reason. Alright, just go back to Pokemon Gold, why are you here? After returning to the lab, Giovanni calls, telling me to return to HQ, and he's in the middle of a scolding session, it seems. During it, we see our good old friend Ronnie get fired from the team as he runs off. Well, what perfect timing to arrive. After that, I have to go to Cerulean Cave to go and fight Mewtwo. I can't catch it, and I could have easily lost this fight as I didn't know that he was level 70. Thankfully, I had Gengar who had Curse, so I was able to win. After defeating him, I'm told to go to Viridian City to find Shigeki. He tells me about the failed Mewtwo experiment and surf along Cinnabar Island's coast. I fly there and it's all corrupted. I surf around the east side and encounter Missing No. I use the Master Ball and catch it. Alright, the rest of the game is going to be very interesting now. Once I catch it, I get congratulated by Bill, and then he tells me to go to Professor Oak's lab. Here, we get to see some flashbacks of a younger version of him. There were also a few security guards here who gave me some nice free team members. I exit the lab and I get a call to go back to Viridian. I fly there only to find out that Giovanni has quit after Red defeated him. He gives me leadership of the team and tells me to head on to Victory Road to take on the Elite Four. I wonder if we're gonna fight Red. I do just that, and right before I can reach the front door, Lance shows up and fights me. He leads with Gyarados, so I just use Super Glitch from Missing No to freeze him, and then I finish him off with Raichu. Second is Aerodactyl, but I just take him out with Missing No again. For Dragonair, I try using Blizzard with my new Tentacruel, but it survives and forces me to switch to Nidoking. But it's not a problem. For Kingdra, I didn't have a great answer, so I just used Gengar and Shadow Balled until it was low, and then used Curse. I finished it with Tentacruel, and last is Dragonite, but the battle's already over. He does use both of his full restores, which was pretty annoying, but I was never in any danger. Of course, I make sure to steal his Dragonite after winning. Anyway, Victory Road took a bit, but here's the final team now. One of the trainers had an Ampharos, so I knew that I was going to steal that. Again, this is a blind playthrough, so I have zero idea as to what I'm supposed to expect level-wise, but this has just been such a crazy journey. Well, I think I can win. Let's do this. First is Lorelei, and we don't fight the Elite Four because they've already lost. Alright then. I make it all the way to the champions room and find out that Red was just used as a puppet to become the champion, so we have to fight him and Professor Oak. But first we have to beat Agatha since she put a curse in the room, and she was just a complete sweep. Missing No Psychic just destroyed her entire team without fainting. And now we have the final 2 fights. First is Red. I use Missing No hoping to take Charizard out, but I actually go down first. I finish it off with Dragonite and he sends out his Dragonite. I switch to Ampharos to hopefully paralyze it, but he just uses Dragon Tail to switch my team around. I eventually take it out as I get a clutch poison point right before he would have healed. Third is Lapras, and Ampharos manages to get in a discharge before going down. I switch to Nidoking and barely take it out with a Brick Break. Fourth is Snorlax, so I switch to Gengar to curse him and confuse him, and then I just chip him away with Arcanine. For Alakazam, I just use Crunch since it has low physical defense, and last is Pikachu, but I mean it's a Pikachu. Finally, we have the true final boss, Professor Oak. He leads with Tauros, and I use Missing No to take him down to red health, but I go down first. I send out Nidoking, but he just hits himself and takes himself out with confusion. Second is Executor, and I try to take it out with Gengar, but he survives on red health and one-shots me. I finish it off with Arcanine, and for Gyarados, I use Ampharos and one-shot it with Discharge. Fourth is his own Arcanine, but I just use Dragonite Surf to take it out since the rain is still up. Fifth is Jolteon, but 2 Earth Powers are enough to take it out while he just uses Wish, and last is Venusaur, but it's too late. 2 Flamethrowers from Arcanine, and it's over. I, a criminal, have ironically saved the world. And with that, we've beaten Pokemon as a Team Rocket member. Unfortunately, because of my crimes, I also go to jail along with Professor Oak. Not gonna lie, that was a crazy adventure. It was definitely a lot shorter than I thought it would be, but still, the amount of polish this ROM hack has is just insane. I also have to give a massive applause to the story. This felt like the perfect mix of a regular Pokemon game and a traditional JRPG with your character playing a big role in the story. I definitely wish that Game Freak made more Pokemon games in this kind of style. jail. I actually glossed over a lot of the intricate story parts, so if you want to play this game yourself, you should definitely check it out. It's called Pokemon FireRed Rocket Edition, and it's really cool. There's also quite a lot of post-game that I didn't cover in this video, so you should definitely check it out. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. I love doing these types of Pokemon playthroughs and challenges, and it would mean a lot if you could. Alright, I'll see you all once I get out of jail.